So if you want to make a game and really make it your own, you're going to need to be able to edit the characters. It's what can make your game go from this to this. To bring up the character editor, you press Alt-C, and it puts you on the first character in the character set. To switch characters, you would press Enter. This brings up the character set, and then you're able to select which character you want to work with. You can now press Delete to clear a character, and you draw by pressing either Space or Tab. You can also fill a character with Alt-F. You can also press the plus and minus keys to go up and down one character in the character set. I like the look of this bear cub head, and I'd like to use it for my player character, but I'm going to leave this one alone. I'll copy it by pressing F2, and then I'll press Enter to go to the character that I want to change. And then I can press F3 to paste the copied character. Now I want to use this, and I want to add a body. So I'm going to hold down Alt and press the arrow keys to move this drawing around inside this character set. And you can actually move him up off of the top of the character, and it just continues at the bottom. You can do that by pressing left and right too. Okay, so I'm going to add a body. I guess that'll work. Some other interesting things you can do are flip the character upside down with key F, mirror it with key M, and you can also make a negative of the character with key N. And if you notice, my player character up here on the corner of the screen is also changing as I adjust this one. So I'm going to save a copy of this one by pressing F2, and I'm going to show you how to clear out the whole character set and start with a blank set. So I'll press Escape, and I'm going to look it up. Press, let's see, Alt-A, and you can choose from the Megazeux default set, an ASCII set, a Super Megazeux set, or a blank set. I'm going to choose a blank set. And now when I go back into the character editor, you can see that a lot of the characters have been taken out. It just kept the really important ones. You will probably want to keep most of these lines. You'll definitely want to keep the solid block, probably the half blocks, and you'll probably want to keep the alphabet. You may not need some of these symbols in your game. That's up to you to decide. You'll probably want to keep these arrows. So I'm going to bring the player character back by pressing F3. So you can actually copy and paste between character sets. So if you were to save this character set, you could press Alt-X and export as character set, and then you would name it. And then if I press Alt-I, I can import it. Now if I want to choose a different set to import, let's just go ahead and load a default set for now. So I'll press this. So I've loaded my default set. See, that clipboard info stays between sets. So you can actually do that between games too, I believe. Now I'm going to go back to my other set by pressing Alt-I and import character set. Alright, now if you want to work with a larger block of characters, you can do that by holding down Shift. And you see that when you hold down Shift, it highlights the block. You can then select a block of characters by moving the arrow key over. And it has to be, the blocks has to meet certain criteria. The block of characters you edit has to fit into this square shape. It has to be a square or a rectangle shape. So you can do 2 characters, you can do 3 characters, you can do 4 characters. You can't do 5 because it can't fit 5 into an even block on the screen. You can do 6 or 8 or 12. You can do up to 18 characters. So if I was to select, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So that's the most characters you can select at once, which is 18. And I can actually move this entire block up and down 18 just by pressing plus and minus. So it's moving 18 characters at a time. I can also press enter, and I can move the entire block around with the arrow keys, and it stays like that until I press shift again to select a new block. So let's try working with just a block of 4 characters for now. And it asks me to choose my subdivision. If I do 2 by 2, it makes 2 blocks on the side and 2 blocks vertically. If I do 4 by 1, then it lines all 4 blocks up beside each other, just like it does when I've highlighted my block here. So if I select 6, let's do it this way for easier. If I select 6, I can choose 3 by 2, 2 by 3, or 6 by 1. And this allows me to draw like a larger character if I want. Alright, I drew a larger version of the player character. And if I press enter, you can look at it on the character set, and you can see it divides it up. It's got the 3 blocks at the top beside the 3 blocks at the bottom. And if I hit enter again, I have to keep the same subdivision, which is 2 by 3, because if I go to a different subdivision, whoops, I guess it was 3 by 2. If I go to 2 by 3, it doesn't look correct anymore. Now I can do all of the same things with this larger block of characters that I can do with a single block. I can mirror, flip it, I can make it negative if I want. I can even copy and paste it somewhere else. Alright, I threw the block of characters up on the screen here onto some custom blocks so that I could show you that whatever you do with this block of characters will be emulated there. So if I start scrolling it like this, it repeats it there. And you can actually use this to your advantage because through robotic, you can actually edit characters on the fly. You can also scroll them, you can swap them out for other characters. I'll show you some of those commands coming up. Now if you want to save this block of characters to bring up within your game, you can save a part of a character set simply by pressing Alt-X within the character editor and naming it. And it puts some information down here. Basically, it's got the offset, which is the first character within your character set that has the beginning block you want to save. So in this case, it's character 3 is the beginning character, and it automatically selects all of the characters you're using in the block of characters. So when I save this, it's going to be a 6-block character set. So if I go and import it somewhere else, it'll show up. So if I go down here to this blank area and go to Alt-I, I can actually load. And now we have it down here. You can do this within the game as well, and I'll show you that in a minute. You can save an entire character set, or you can save any number of characters from 1 to 256. What you're going to need to know, though, is you're going to want to look up and write down the beginning character and how many characters you're saving. All right, so let's try saving this uppercase alphabet. As you can see from this counter right down here, the beginning character is 65, and we're going to save 26 additional characters after that to get the whole alphabet. And I actually need to go out of the character editor and do it here. So you press Alt-X. We're going to save a new character set. We're going to call it ABC. And the offset is going to be 65. And the size is going to be 26 characters because that's how many characters we are saving. Okay. Now let's see if it worked. We'll try importing it. Let's try putting it right here at 129. I can actually do that from within the character editor too by going Alt-I on the character that I want to import it at, which the offset is already here for me, 129. So I'm going to import the ABC, and there it is, and it has A through Z imported, so it worked properly.